Give yourselves a round of applause for being able to meditate at least for 2 minutes today. Beautiful work. All right, now my daughter Imani and I, we will be playing djembe drums. And this is a rhythm called Yankadi. Can we say Yankadi? So Yankadi is a celebratory rhythm and a celebratory beat to give us some great true vibrations, our heartbeat. Everyone has a different one, and everyone's heart, soul, and voice truly matters today and forevermore. All right, so you all, pitch and rhythm is really important in order for us to open up to our truth, to our purpose. And at this moment, I would love to sing a song with you. Come on up, King Dwayne. Come on up, King Dwayne. So King Dwayne, he acts shy. He acts like his only voice is his speaking voice, but he's an awesome, superb singer, I promise. So after we sing this song and after you all are included, and you've been included this whole time because that's what community unity is all about. Freedom, liberation, emancipation, and we all are free. We just have to get out of our comfort zones to work together as the majority. Don't you agree, Warren County?
Yes. Yes, we agree.
Whew. All right now. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to sing a phrase, and this is an affirmation to be affirmed from your root all the way up to your crown and from your crown all the way down. I know that we may not be accustomed to this, but I'm not doing anything scary. I'm not doing anything that you should be afraid of. I am truly helping all of us to be on the same vibration and to go even higher than that. Is that okay, Warren County? Awesome. Don't be afraid, Dwayne.
What are you saying?
I'm going to sing an affirmation song, and this song is for chakra alignment. That means this song helps us to open up so that we can speak out of truth, not lies, but truth. So when we're speaking with our concerns, we want to make sure it's coming out of a place of love, a place of joy, but also a place of what? A place of what? Increase, progression, right? Because that's what we need in order for Warren County to rise. It's not just up to the commissioners, not at all. It's not just up to the Board of Education, not at all. It's not just up to law enforcement, not at all. It's up to us because they serve us. And we want to make sure that we have good people, good leaders in place to serve such beautiful, rich, royal, and resilient people. Don't you agree, Warren County?
Sure.
Thank you, Dwayne. Yes, Queen Barbara is here. We have our whole team present. Awesome. So now at this moment, we're going to do a quick affirmation before I introduce Warren County Voices. So I'm going to sing first, and then I'm going to pass the mic to Dwayne. And Dwayne, I want you to sing the same phrase after me with everyone else. So you all, when Dwayne sings, can you all sing with Dwayne? Awesome. If y'all want to stand up and get more free, you are free to do that too, okay? I know you've had a long day of work. You might have had a long day in a cubicle or looking at a screen or doing something like that. So today, at this moment, it's time to just free yourself and breathe before we express all of our truth as one. All right. I am love.
I am love.
Make sure that you all sing with King Dwayne. I am love.
I am love.
I feel wonderfully made.
I feel wonderfully made.
I feel wonderfully made.
I feel wonderfully made.
I do miraculous things.
I do miraculous things.
I do miraculous things.
I do miraculous things.
I love abundantly.
I love abundantly.
I love abundantly.
I love abundantly.
I speak truth and greatness.
Truth and greatness.
Good job. I speak truth and greatness.
I speak truth and greatness.
I see beyond surface.
I see beyond surface.
I see beyond surface.
I see beyond surface.
I know without a doubt.
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 Say your name. 1, 2, 3 after me. That I'm Queen Siobhan Marie.
I'm King Dwayne.
And you're
sleeping.
Don't be afraid to put a queen or a king in front of your name, because you were born royal. You were born purposeful. You were born radiant. You were truly born resilient and brilliant too. I know without a doubt.
I know without a doubt.
That I'm Queen Siobhan Marie.
That I'm King Dwayne.
And you're
sleeping.
Nope. Great vibrations. And I'm Queen Siobhan Marie.
And I'm King Dwayne.
And you're awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Warren County, thank you so much for participating and for being affirmed in your rightful places. Take up space. That's what they're afraid of. Don't be afraid to take up space. Don't be afraid to speak your truth. Don't be afraid to be affirmed, because other people will follow you. Be the ripple effect and nothing less. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right, so I am Goddess Siobhan Marie. Where are you going, Dwayne? Hold on now. King Espinosa. Queen Barbara. Where's Queen Barbara? Okay. All right, so I happily introduce you to the voices of Warren County. Let's give it a round of applause for King Dwayne Hicks. Let's give King Espinosa a round of applause as well. We also have Queen Barbara Espinosa. And I am Queen Siobhan Marie. Thank you, thank you. So we're going to start the program off with the Board of Education component. We have 3 very major components. The first one includes the Board of Education for Warren County Public Schools. That seemed to be a major concern when we voiced to the community what they wanted to discuss mostly at the town hall. And many people said the Board of Education, Warren County Public School System. The second most important thing that they wanted to speak on was the Board of Commissioners, Economic Development and Progression here in Warren County. Then the third thing that everyone thought was very major was also law enforcement. So we will be talking about all three of these government components, government sectors, and seeing what we can do to make this better. I'm going to start off with the Board of Education. I am Siobhan Marie Russell Jones. I'm the owner of the Imani Nia School of Fine Arts and Trades. Our school specializes in self-sustainability, freedom.
She wants to make sure that you do a introduction and then give them the rules, go through the rules for them, and then Espinosa is going to do something.
Okay.
But before you go into just kind of go through that.
Okay. All right, so before we get started, before we go all the way in, we're going to quickly speak on our rules and regulations, our policies before everyone speaks. We have a community unity microphone right there that is wireless for the convenience of you for our mic toss. And if you hear any topic that you want to speak on, you just let us know and we will go in our order accordingly. So we welcome all of you once again. We did this through meditation, through pitch and rhythm, also through us singing together. Now, at this moment, we want to welcome you again, with us being Warren County Voices, as well as myself, More Journeys, Parent Teacher Student Organization. We have rules here. Number one, no being disrespectful. Respect opinions, even if you disagree. Anyone being rude or disrespectful will be asked to leave or accompanied out by a sheriff. There are no time limits for speaking. We just ask for consideration so everyone is allowed to voice their opinions. We have already introduced ourselves in regards to King Ronaldo Espinosa, King Dwayne Hicks, myself, Siobhan Marie, as well as Queen Barbara Espinosa, for those of you that just walked in. The purpose of this town hall meeting is also by visionaire King Ronaldo Espinosa. The concerns and solutions are for Warren County. Questionable actions of law enforcement will be spoken on by King Dwayne. School issues, accountability of school funds and money. School consolidation, lack of teacher and community input when board and superintendent make decisions. District voting versus PAC. Board of Commissioners representing the needs of their district. Accountability of finance, grocery stores, broadband, internet progress. Senior Center, PCB and noise ordinance. Speaker Ferruccio, land protection, check zoning, and checking the deeds. So you all, those are some of the topics that we're going to speak on. Each of us have a component that we cover. The commissioner's component will be led by Queen Barbara Espinosa as well as King Espinosa. King Dwayne will cover law enforcement, and I will cover the Board of Education in regards to many things that you just heard. Can I see that? All right. So the very first thing on the list that we will speak on is the public school system, Board of Education, finances and progression, the roof of the middle school, building renovations and consolidation, overlay, curriculum design, Black history, meaning the Black students being included in the textbooks. We currently don't have textbooks though. So that is also a major thing that we want to speak on. Okay, so we're gonna just go to the commissioner's component first, and we have so many things to speak on the Board of Education. We're gonna save that for last. So Queen Ferruccio will be speaking on environmental justice, PCB landfills, as well as the testing. Queen Ferruccio, okay. Let's give her a round of applause, please. We're also recording, Ms. Ferruccio. Okay, we're doing things. If you could take that microphone right there, it's a cordless one for you for your convenience.
Hi, everybody. Sort of thing with some students of mine, the equal justice. Is this better? I don't have all the answers, but I noticed that some of my kids do. The other day, Commissioner Davis, you heard Dante White, an 11th grader, speak at the NAACP, and he talked about how he had been discriminated against much of his childhood. He's black, but he also pointed out that kids of any color discriminated against him. And his friend, Selena Lynn, is Chinese, and she has experienced her own things. They are going to be going to Montgomery, Alabama, along with other kids at the early college to see the National Peace and Justice Museum there that is trying to help us move forward as a nation in terms of race. And this is an issue that is very deep. It goes back hundreds of years. So it's not like we're going to solve anything tomorrow. But I just want you to know, I've got kids that are involved in this. And in the next month or so, there's going to be an exhibit at the library that is sponsored by the North Carolina Museum of Natural Science. And it's called Race, Are We So Different? And Warren County is included in this exhibit, not only in Raleigh, but it's going to be a traveling exhibit that is going to begin here in Warren County at the library. And the question is, are we different? Well, this exhibit was created by the Anthropology Society in the United States, and the exhibit ended up here in North Carolina because we're all part of the human race genetically. We literally all come from the same genetic background. But because of politics, economics, and all of the history that people know for hundreds of years, we keep this racial divide that is keeping us back, in Warren County, because when we're divided, then we are not a united force. And so you're going to be hearing from kids. My kids are going to write some letters to the editor. These kids are going to be going to this museum, and they're going to come back, and their job is to be ambassadors, to maybe help the adults who have not figured out how do we move forward. So I hope that you'll stay tuned and check out the library exhibit, and they're going to be adding some art components and some other things to that exhibit. And it also connects to environmental justice because that's why we're in the banner. And I did a painting, by the way, that's a copy of it's in the banner, and I was very privileged to be able to be a part of it and actually do something artistic that was a lot more fun than PCB politics. But the story of Warren County and this PCB landfill, it's not just about environmental racism. It was about environmental discrimination because the entire county was discriminated against. And the county is majority African American, but the county is still full of many people of both colors, white, black, Native American as well. And so the narrative that we need to share as the birthplace of the environmental justice movement can't be a single lens racial narrative because it's the narrative that is holding back what environmental justice means. Environmental justice is continuing, injustice is continuing to happen disproportionately in poor and minority communities and in communities of color. And yet the racial narrative that has become the narrative coming out of Warren County is not a narrative that's actually helping because you know what? In communities where there are African American majorities and they go to the court, the history of the whole United States EPA, Title VI, discriminatory factors inciting landfills and other high impact facilities, they don't win in court because when it comes to citing a landfill somewhere, they don't say, I'm picking Warren County just because you're black and I'm white and I don't like black people. They're picking Warren County because they can politically do it. And that goes along with poverty, it goes along with all these other factors. But what made the Warren County story so special? And it was in the Warren Record. Bignell Jones was the editor of the paper. He had been a segregationist. If you look at the Warren Record and you see some of his past editorials, he came right out for segregation. I don't know if it was in the 50s or what, but I did a lot of the archival research. But during the PCB thing, Bignell Jones said, for the first time in the history of Warren County, the racial divide was crossed. So we did something in Warren County because everybody that got together that saw that we were threatened, not just with the PCB landfill, we were going to have a 500-acre dump that would have made us a massive dumping grounds. Everybody didn't see color. Everybody saw that PCBs are colorblind, that they will poison you and me and anybody. There's no discrimination when it comes to poison. And for the first time, and I'll have to say this, as a member of the Warren County Citizens Concerned About PCBs, I will never forget what it felt like to be a person from the north who moved into this county and had no idea about the politics. I just loved the people and I loved the land, and Ken and I moved here. I felt so privileged to be a part of this movement. I knew it, and everybody that was involved in it at the moment that it was happening, we knew it was history. We knew as the trucks kept coming in anyway, and we kept trying to stop them or slow them down, we knew that we were sending a message out to the world. And we were sending it out because the news media was coming in. And so we knew that whether we stopped that landfill or not, what we were doing was sending a message. And that was, one, don't come back to Warren County, because they had big plans for Warren County. And two, we stood on principles that were good for any community. We never said dump it somewhere else, except for at the time, the only option was to take it to a place in Alabama where they had 700 feet of clay and we had less than 7. So when we looked at the science, we felt justified. Now we know 40 years later, it's gone through 700 feet of clay in Alabama and the people there are also destroyed. So I won't keep going. I just want you to know that I want to be part of how do we move forward as a county that's been racially divided and has been, we moved in a way that was so profound in 1978 to 1982, and then we've moved backwards in terms of the racial divide. I think we can move forward. I think we have to move forward. We have to be the human race. We have to help save the planet. And the story of Warren County, this history here, is being looked at around the world. And we have to live up to this story that's being told about us. I think we can do it. And I want to help that story to be a story that's effective and meaningful and helpful and gives my children and grandchildren and your grandchildren any kind of hope for the future. So thank you. And I'm sorry I have to go to a Zoom meeting.
Good evening. Even though it's not crowded, a lot of people are on the Zoom and on Facebook, and they're watching this. So I want to take this opportunity to thank the commissioners or commissioners and the school board for coming out. And because it's so imperative, I would like for each of you to be able to come up and tell us what is your vision, Mr. Terry Davis and Mr. Powell, what is your vision for Warren County? Because the citizens feel that you guys are making decisions, but we don't ever feel like we're part of it. And that is the same question I'm going to pose to the superintendent also, who happens to be here, and I thank you for showing up. I'm going to start with Terry Davis.
First of all, I'd like to thank those who've put this program together. And thank you all for coming out today. Of course, yes, I'm Commissioner T. Davis, and it's been a truly honor to serve as your commissioner representing all of Warren County, and especially the people of Warren County that who have impacted my position as being a commissioner. That's a lot to say, representing District 2. To the essence of the question, and that leads right to it. Well, Warren County government works on the behalf of its people. And the inclusiveness side of it is that we have our monthly meetings. I'm very engaged with the citizens and understanding what is it that they like to see in their community. Um, with almost 20,000 people, that's a lot of opinions. All right. So a lot of times we don't see or hear what other opinions are, but we have to take them into accountability when we are in board of commissioners meetings. Everybody has an idea of what they feel like Warren County should look like. Some like change, some don't like change. Some want, ensure that we give them something, but don't raise taxes doing it. My point is this: as a sitting commissioner or any elected official position, when you're taking an accountability of the thought that you have to be reminded every time you make a decision, you're based upon the ideas of the people. I can't say I'm going to give you everything you want because somebody over here may say, I don't want that. So to have the reflection of saying, well, what is the vision of Warren County? What is it that we like to see in Warren County? Well, that's a collective thought of expression. We all want, no, well, yes, let me finish this. We all want to be safe. We all want to be healthy. We all want opportunity. We all want the best education that we can have. We want the finer things in life just like anybody else will. But those things come with a lot of decision making that you or anybody else really don't see behind the scenes. Meaning, we are bound by certain laws and policies and law that tell us what we can and cannot do. We are an extension. With a commissioner, we are an extension of the state. There are only so many things that we can do outside of what the state asks us to do or require us to do. Then there is property taxes. Okay. So we try to move in a perspective way that we are able to give you recreation, uh, economic stability in other places, uh, being to obtain businesses to come here. But sometimes that doesn't just happen the way you feel like they should happen. It's not like a right now world. Businesses here are very dynamic on what they would like to move into a community. Sometimes they don't want to be here. Sometimes people don't want them there. Some people say, well, I like to have this business here, but I don't want it beside me. Right? Right. So that happens a lot. I like things that we are doing here tonight because it does give us an opportunity to have a Q&A session outside the Board of Commissioners meeting where, of course, it's a lot more structured because that's our business meeting. There is so much to be said here tonight. But I will say this: any effective leader, first obligation is to bring people together, to work out their differences. And where we can make good policy together and agree, then we do it. Where we can't, ensure that it does not divide us. For me, as a commissioner, I use two perspectives: what's good and what's right. If it's bad, don't even try to deal with it, of course. If it's good, it may not be right. It may be right, but not good. But if they are both, then we move forward. I'll be more than glad to answer any questions that I can from this perspective going forward. Okay. So first, thank you for that question. When it comes to the supermarket, now I would not be any type of commissioner if I was moving against having a grocery store that's accessible for good food, good opportunity, not just food, but opportunities for the people, right? So, but here's the deal: you can't force any business to come to an area. Okay, you just can't. Now, have we done things to make ourselves attractive to have a grocery store here? Yes, but at the end of the day, it's that sole business decision whether they're going to come or not. It's based upon population, the bottom line. All of those things come into factor. If I had if I could, I would definitely have a grocery store, or not even have it to leave. How about that? Well, actually, you've answered the question. Actually, you've answered the question by present. No, no, I know you're asking me, but everything that you ask in your question is exactly the reason why we don't have one. It is because economic. It is because of population. All of those things that you just mentioned are the reason why there is not one. And any business, the bottom line is to make money. Grocery stores are there to make money.
Check, check, check.
Look, so I go back again. I know there are so many different scenarios that we can come up with. Now, I speak truth to fact. Whether you like it or not, I'm gonna speak truth to fact. If I could have done anything to ensure that there's a grocery, number one, the grocery store didn't leave and establish another grocery store, I'd done it a long time ago. It just does not work that way. It just doesn't. Do you make yourself attractive? Yes, you do. We've offered several different initiatives in order for a grocery store to come. At the end of the day, it's their decision. They are a sole proprietor business of any grocery store. We've done it. Okay, so we have public hearings, all right, and we listen to the public hearings, and it's the people in those communities that say yes or no. Now, the one that's in town here, we didn't have anything to do with. The other ones, it's based upon the public hearing. If you say no, and then you got 10 others that say we they want it, then that's what we listen to. I mean, that's just where it works. Some people say, you know what, we can't travel 10, 20 miles to a Walmart or whatever, but it's easier for them to travel to a dollar store. Well, you know a little bit more about that than I do. I'll shoot it to you straight with that. But here's the deal: any consumer protection laws that are being broken, uh, needs to be, be addressed. You know. Okay. Yes, sir. Right. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Uh huh. We did what now? Okay. Build a school. It's premature for me to say any of that. Okay. It's just premature. But I can say this right here. We understand where the senior center is and what needs to be done. And we're working towards that. Okay. Um, it's in the making. That's all I can tell you. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
I mean, I know we're not going to get a food
So
fight or nothing, but can we at
so
least get one of those?
so you see the reason why somebody would want and I truly understand. However, we don't play a part. When I say we, the county government don't play a part where those things are located. That is a separate thing that dollar stores, they do their own study about where they want to put stores at. We don't have any involvement in that. Hmm.
So, so oh, okay.
I need you ain't got to answer right now, but that's what I need y'all to think about, and y'all need to work on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Here you go.
Yeah, the county government is looking for a community center to, well, it's one of the same, sir. The, the building is plain old. But, sir, so I look, here's the deal. We put a lot of money in the building. Some, we're doing what the public asked us to do. And Mr. Espinosa is one of the ones to say that the building is, I know, but I know, but I'm answering your question because the finger has been pointed at us. But however, just like I said when I first started, that you have some citizens want this, some citizens want that, and you look at what's the best interest of the county. And the best interest of the county is that it's a very old building, and we have done a lot of repairs over the course of the years. It has become now financially stable, and the stability of it is to build a new facility. That is a very old building.
Can y'all do me a favor? We finally got a microphone. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I know everybody wants to hear you all talk online. I know it's comfortable there, but if you don't mind, can y'all come down here? We try to maneuver it the best way we can so everybody can hear it. So if y'all don't mind moving, thank you for allowing me to do this right quick.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it'll be right here. So if you want to talk, feel free. Again, thank you again.
That. Wow. All right. Well, first, thanks for coming out, Commissioner Davis, because and I see Commissioner Powell here. I see other ones didn't take time to come out, but we're talking. I'm going back to the grocery store. How much research did y'all do before y'all put the grocery store on the lake? And knowing that if population and whatever other elements were would make a difference with grocery stores.
Oh, so to answer that question, sir, I have no idea. The grocery store was on Lake Gaston even before I moved to Warren County.
Okay, okay,
So I have no idea, sir.
okay.
Before I became a commissioner.
How long has it been down there? Do
I
you
have,
know?
I
Really?
have no idea. That grocery store was there when I moved to Warren County in 2006.
Okay. All right. The next thing I wanted to ask though was you said certain things commissioners could not do due to policy, laws. Can you go a little deeper, give some examples of what things?
Sure. One of the things that we are held by, let's say we did have a business that was interested in Warren County. Okay. There is, you cannot go out there and broadcast it because they don't want to. You have to be quiet about it. That's the reason why sometimes when you see us go into closed session, because we may learn about a potential business that wants to move into the community, but we can't say anything. Um, it, I'm not making it up. It's by law.
Right. So how I'm still not getting it. How does what does that have to do with what can and cannot be done? You said you cannot talk about it openly. Understand that.
Mhm.
What does that have to do with the laws? I mean, I missed something.
All right. So I use for you an example. You're a business person, right? And you want to take your business and put it in a certain area, okay? And you come to us and you say, hey, look, I want to think about buying this piece of property over here, and I want to open up a business over here. And but you can't say anything about it until I want you to broadcast it to the public that that's going to happen. And there are certain things and guidelines have to go before we can make it known to the public. Now, it doesn't say that you're going to actually do it, but it just is just by state law. That's the way it works.
Well, I mean, I still understand what they have to do with laws. And I can understand you can't talk about it, but what does that have to do with things not happening? I mean, saying that it cannot happen due to certain laws or whatever. I mean, I can understand you may not can go out and
I'm not
talk about
understanding
it.
you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, I'm just repeating what you said earlier.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I just want you to go a little
Look, I'm
deep.
not being funny at all, sir,
Uh-huh.
but I do not understand your question other than that we are bound by certain laws in order to operate as county commissioners. I mean, I don't.
Right. Right. Yeah, because all I heard you say was you cannot openly talk about certain things.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
no, no, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. No, 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 no. That is no, 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 no. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I came here to be an asset to the community. All right. I came here, and that's what I came here to give you the answers that I could give you. Now, if it's going to be to the point that I'm going to be disputed because I don't have no reason to tell you anything incorrect, and I will not tell you anything correct. I'm just telling you what we are able to do and not able to do. That's all I can do.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to know since you've been commissioner, what businesses or what type of reasons have you been told that businesses don't want to come to Warren County? Or the ones that were here, say for instance, the grocery store that was here, what's the reason that they left? And can we use those points to start to build on a framework to get businesses to come into Warren County?
Basically, yes. If the grocery store was still there, use it. Patronize the grocery store.
So the grocery store left because there were not enough customers. Is that what you're
Exactly.
saying? And okay, so some of the prospects that may have wanted to come to Warren County,
Based on the
what were
numbers.
the reasons that they decided not to come?
Based on the numbers, it's based on population, based on the potential customers that it will have. You know, they are a bottom line business.
Right.
You know, they drive on revenue. That's it. They want to be able to sell the product.
And you may know this too. What's the I just moved back to Warren County not too long
Okay.
ago. But what's the compared to the Franklin County and Vance County and Granville County, the surrounding counties, population, how do we compare to those counties who are, seems like they're moving or progressing a little more than Warren County?
Right. Well, of course, yes. Of course, there are larger counties, and there are a lot of things that contributed to that. A lot of rural counties now are losing in population, and there are a lot of things that's happening, and the reason why that's happening. There are a lot of things that's happening. Um, Kids, you know, they graduate from high school, they want to leave and do other things. They don't come back after college. They say, you know, in rural communities, there's not a lot of things to do. Look, I can say this right here, and I say this boldly. Rural North Carolina cannot do it by themselves. It's going to take state and federal input in order to move rural North Carolina above and beyond to be compete. Because just like you think about it, people are moving to Raleigh, Durham, and places like that. They've got 5G, they got internet, they got a whole lot of other things. We are base revenue on property taxes. So at the same time, the county commissioners are trying to ensure that you have certain amenities here but it's based upon property taxes. And we hear it all the time. Don't raise my taxes. Don't do it.
So, as Warren County citizens, what gives us hope?
What gives us hope?
Yeah.
What gives us hope is ensuring that you're electing the right people who have your interests at heart, and understand what I just said, that it takes a partnership from the state and the federal government. It takes a partnership between public and private entities in order to work together to move communities further.
And so
That's
the
what
people,
it takes.
and so the people that are elected, are there initiatives that you are working with the state? You said, how do we get that recognition, or how do we get those dollars to come into, even though our population is not there?
So I always use this as an example. Relationships create opportunities. And it's having elected officials and other people that together, they're able to foster relationships with other people that have the power, that have the know-how, and have the revenue in order to move a community forward by saying, hey, look at me. Believe me, I have traveled all over this state and this country, ensuring that I meet and greet those opportunities of relationships in order to bring Warren County at the forefront. It's one of the reasons why I ran for second vice president of the association. So that when in August, T. Davis will be president of the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners. I will be there. And guess what they're going to say? He's from Warren County. He's from Warren County. That speaks volumes.
And so outside of, I'm going to say this and then I'll let somebody else take the mic. So outside of voting to get officers or commissioners in the seats that can take those initiatives, what would you encourage the citizens of Warren County to do outside of that voting? Is there anything that the citizens of Warren County can do to start that train to vote?
What you're doing tonight? Making yourself be heard.
So who at the state is hearing this?
I'm sorry?
Who at the state level is hearing this?
That's the reason why I'm running for North Carolina Senate, sir.
Okay.
That's the reason why I'm running for North Carolina Senate. Look, here's the deal. I have learned in my third term as a county commissioner, sitting over there, I understand that what I just said, it has to come to be. And that is, as a commissioner, in order for Warren County to grow and need that partnership from the state and federal government, you got to be in a position in order to foster that. I get so sick and tired of sitting in the board of commissioners, wanting to do the things that everybody's asking us to do, and you can't do it. You cannot do it because I got to raise your taxes in order to do it. So what do I need to do then? Get in the position that I know that I can help you. Get in that position to know that I can help you. And get up there where the decisions are made, and I can advocate for you. They say that the squeakiest wheel gets the grease, right? Yeah. So, yes. Now,
So I just want you to speak on how we were able to attain that grocery store on Main Street.
because the county commissioners had nothing to do with that grocery store. It's inside the town city limits.
Okay, also Corita, she purchased Just Save. She
Mhm.
purchased that. So don't you think if she's already purchased the grocery store with intentions to also have groceries that we should help her somehow so that we can open that building that was actually a former grocery store?
When you say help, what do you mean help?
I mean, since we did we are a rural area and we do get additional funding for being a rural area, which is why Warren County Public Schools got $67 million. And that is the most money we've ever had because we are indeed a rural area. So, with that being said, and sometimes the question is, can we have funding for this small business? Can we have funding for that? So, I think that if she bought the building, we should at least see what we could do to help to get groceries, to get things in that store because she's already done the hard work. She pays utilities each month, and those utilities are not cheap. So if we already have a building that we want to use as a grocery store, is it possible to help her as a small business owner to get that started for us?
So there are limitations on what we can do with public funds and on a private partnership business. I cannot take public funds and just give it to a private business. It doesn't work that way.
I'm sure it doesn't.
Now, yeah, now to say that if I could do anything under my power to ensure that there was a grocery store there, I'd have done it a long time ago.
But we
But
also do have funding, to my knowledge. It's also on the website for economic development for small businesses. A few businesses have been awarded this. That's how we have Reeves. She has her own barbershop and all of that. We gave funding to about 3 different businesses. So my question is, why not her? She owns the grocery store that can house the food, the produce, all of that at the
I,
former grocery store.
I have to say this again,
I'm listening.
respectfully. Do you think or do you believe that if there was something that I could have done and ensured that that grocery store was open today, don't you think that I would have done it?
I don't know, King. We
No,
should also
no,
have an
no,
after
no, no.
school.
Let's speak truth to fact, okay? The
Yeah.
truth of the fact is, I would have done it. Period.
Well, if that's the need of the community and what they need most, in regards to trying your best to make that happen, like I understand what you're saying,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
she's already bought the building,
I
the
understand.
utilities, and
Yes,
we
ma'am.
have other business owners that
Yes,
have
ma'am.
received funds in this county from y'all's funding for
From who?
from the commissioners in
No, ma'am.
regards to grants.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay,
No,
so
ma'am.
that is not true. Warren County Economic Development, that is not a
Ma'am,
part of the commissioners.
what we do, we offer incentives for businesses to operate here, but there is no upfront monies to come from that.
I
That
di-
is,
I'm not.
let me
Okay.
finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
Those are tax incentives that we give them that they pay into, and then we relinquish the tax incentives as they go forward. That's how that works. We don't take money out of our reserve fund and give to any business.
I understand that.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, in regards to an incentive for her to be able to have one, because she is the owner of that place, and it is a space for a former grocery store because it was one. So don't you think that maybe she should get an incentive if that's the only thing that's left for her for us to have a grocery store, especially if we can't get it directly through the county?
I'm not sure how to answer your question because that's not up to me. That's up to the business owner. It's a process. Yeah.
Okay, I understand it's a process. Just like when we donated $10,000 to the Hex Grove Community School, and that was for them to have a renovated playground. And they have a renovated playground, but we don't have any programs in that building
Ma'am.
for children.
So here's the deal. So I'm going to speak to that. I'm going to speak to that. There was a call because we wanted to expand recreation throughout the county. So the county set aside monies to be given to certain communities that are going to offer recreation programs to the public. And that's where those monies come from. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I know her very well. I know her very well. Thank you. Can I? Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Next person up is the superintendent of Warren County Schools, Mr. Keith Sutton.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. Uh, thank you for this opportunity to be here. Thank you all for taking the time to come out this evening yourselves and put on this event. Wasn't really preparing to speak, didn't know I was going to be asked to speak, but certainly thanks for the opportunity. I just want to share a little bit about the questions, my vision for the school system. Um, my vision for Warren County Schools is to reimagine Warren County school system, one that is going to produce quality students that are prepared to go into any endeavor, any field of work, and be successful 21st century citizens and be productive 21st century citizens. But what does that mean? What does that look like? When we think about, well, what then as a Warren County graduate, what do we want a Warren County graduate to look like? We want them to have critical thinking skills. We want them to be able to be collaborative and go out in the world and work with other individuals. A lot of the times now in jobs, there are very few jobs where people have to work individually or in silos. So they need students to be able to collaborate. Not only do they need to have critical thinking skills and be sharp thinkers and collaborate, they need to be able to communicate well. We want to get students off cell phones and texting and that sort of thing. They need to be able to work again and talk to each other, have productive conversations. So those are some of the things that we want them to have. We want them to be creative. Students working in the arts, fine arts. Those things spur also critical thinking skills. So we want productive citizens that can communicate, that can create, that can collaborate, and think well. We want to improve teaching and learning in our system. We have a grant right now. We're working with our HR department to reimagine the teaching workforce and what that looks like. We're thinking about things in terms of the day and how we spend time during each day to try to give teachers more opportunity to be in control of their own schedules. We're imagining our system and looking at some pilots where we're looking at blended learning and again how we can prepare students for 21st century learning and sort of shift our schools out of this industrial age or model of education. Whether students want to go to college, whether they want to go to work, whether they want to go to the military, we want to make sure that our students are prepared to go into any field. And I would say that whatever they can dream, they can do, and they can be it. And whether they live in Wake County or Charlotte or Warren County, that shouldn't matter. We want all our students to have access to opportunities to excel in high tech fields, if it's biochemistry, if it's cybersecurity, computer programming. They want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist. We want students to be able to follow their dreams and do whatever it is that they would like to do. We want to make sure that we have quality facilities. And so that's where we're working to build a new consolidated elementary school that gives students the best opportunity and a great learning environment so that, again, they can be successful and be exposed to the kinds of things that we see students all across North Carolina and this country have an opportunity to do and be exposed to. So reimagining teaching and learning, reimagining quality facilities, reimagining educators and the way that educators are trained, worked, developed, and be promoted in a system so that they too can live productive lives as participating citizens in our community. And so those are the few of the things that we envision in the district, along with other things around health and wellness. We want to focus on mental health for our students and improve mental health. We see a lot of trauma in a lot of our students, and so we're working to address social emotional issues. So I could go on with a list of things, but those are just some of the things that are priorities in our district. So that's it. So just want to share.
Queen Barbara. Queen Barbara.
My question is, being from Wake Forest, and now you're in a very rural country environment, um, is there a lot of difference between the students that you're used to in Wake Forest versus the students that you see here? And regarding the plan of how to educate them?
I think students are the same, families are the same. there are a lot of differences in Wake County and Warren County. Obviously, the biggest is size, the availability of opportunities. We have things like Apple and IBM and those different things right in the backyard. And so when I talk about technology, students have these things sort of right at their access, right out of the back door. I want to make sure that students have those same opportunities here. I remember talking to a group of students one day, and I asked them if they all had iPhones, and they said yes. There were about 25 students. Everyone had iPhones. But when I asked them, did they see themselves? I asked them, do they know where Apple is located? They said, one student said, yeah, I think it's somewhere in California. I said, exactly. I said, how many of you know that Apple is going to locate its East Coast headquarters an hour down the road? Not one student knew that. And that was fine, that was okay. But when I asked the question, how many of you can see yourselves working at Apple or some other tech company like that, not one of them could see themselves doing that. Now, they had just asked me about bringing them opportunities in computer programming, cybersecurity, high-tech industries, but they didn't see themselves working in high-tech companies. What that says to me is while every student has an iPhone, an Apple Watch, they're consumers of technology, but don't see themselves working and making a living, being inventors or producers of technology. We want to make sure that our students have those kinds of opportunities. So when I think about what's the difference here versus Wake County, obviously it's things like those, resources are in abundance here they're in Wake County. Here we don't have an abundance of resources. We have enough to get done what we need to do. We just got to think sometimes a little bit more strategically about how we deploy those resources, how we spread those resources, and that sort of thing. So those are some of the differences. But to your question, difference in the kids are the same. The kids today, they're all on social media, so their world it's a big world that's right here in their fingertips, and they're exposed to many of those things. But to bring those things sometimes here is the big difference. So, yeah.
I have a question, a few. In regards to speaking on technology, where are the textbooks? I have many students that are also products of Warren County Public Schools and after school private lessons for piano, for fine arts, as well as for our spring break camp and our summer camp. So I share the same students that you have. And they have voiced a few concerns to me, such as the textbooks. A lot of the teachers, some of them are substitute teachers. That means they're not certified to teach math. However, the students still have to take an integrate test based off of math. So with that being said, even substitute teachers have also let me know, Siobhan, I'm supposed to make $100 a day, but my paychecks, my take-home pay says maybe I make 80. Sometimes I bring home this. So it's a lot of penny pinching going on. And a lot of parents are having issues with their children not having textbooks, but we have lots of technology. Even though substitute teachers say, Siobhan, they just get on their phones. What can I teach? I don't have a curriculum to teach. So I want to know, how are they expected to pass the integrate test if they don't have a certified teacher in that specialty subject?
So recruiting teachers has been fairly difficult, especially recruiting certified teachers in areas like math. Some of the hard to teach, not hard to reach subjects. EC, special education, has been a challenge for us in terms of recruiting folks here as well. I think the biggest challenge is getting teachers that have the experience here to the community and being able to pay them a living wage. Salaries are set by the state. We have been given some additional dollars to offset the teacher supplement to help us try to compete with the Wake County and others. But then when they have to drive an additional 30 minutes, 45 minutes for some that applied, it's difficult for us to make it worth their while.
Right. I understand. I was one of those teachers. I'm
Okay.
from Warren County, but I lived in Durham and I drove an hour a day when my daughter was 1 year old. And I was the former teacher at Warren County Middle School and Warren County High School as the chorus teacher. And we haven't had a specialty chorus teacher since 2015. We get teachers that y'all get to do double and triple jobs. That's another reason why. If people want to actually come and teach, they want to teach the subjects that they specialize in. If a band teacher is a band teacher and they have to already teach at 2 schools, would that band teacher have to teach chorus and band at both the middle school and high school for the split positions? Because then they're not getting an increase, meaning half, and I know this because I was a split teacher. Half of my time was spent for 3 hours at Warren County Middle School, and I taught chorus. Now, the band teacher, she has told me she has had to teach chorus and band. And at the high school, there is not chorus. So my whole thing is, and as you know, because I come to Board of Education meetings often, every month. And with that being said, I've written many, many proposals since 2021 to partner. I even had teachers in Durham that were willing to commute and to also help with curriculum design so that children are actually increasing. Because now that we've had Corona, we got $12.4 million in federal grant money, and you all have to send that back if you don't use it for those activities that the children actually missed out on. We didn't have concerts during Corona. We didn't have a lot of mental health going on. We didn't have caseworkers to come and pull out students with individual education plans. So we have a lot of money that we received to accommodate those areas. But now that 12.4 million is going towards the $42 million balance for our new and improved prospective consolidated elementary school. That is also the foundation of New Tech, which is now not an active school in this county. So I want you to explain that funding and how you were able to transfer that to the building funds, but we still don't have the fine arts that we need. We still don't have the programs that the students missed out on. And we still don't have a way of catching them up in regards to reading and math test scores.
So that's not accurate. The 12 million that we received for the pandemic cannot be used for any capital purchases. We can't, so we're not transferring that to build a building.
So where is that money? Because I was told it has to be sent back by July or August of this year if it's not used.
Right.
And we have it for 3 years now.
All pandemic recovery money has to be spent by September of this year, 2024. We have a plan to spend that down. We don't anticipate having to send any money back.
Oh, I know we're not sending no money back. Let's just make that clear. We know we're not sending not a cent back. So if we do have that much money still, and it was given to us 3 years ago.
We do not.
Okay, so can you inform me, as well as the community, of what that money was spent on?
I can't tell you that off the top of my head. I didn't come prepared to share that information, but that information is available. We just completed a audit back in January. The board approved that audit just a couple of months ago. And so a complete accounting of all monies that were expended ending in June 20 and ending our fiscal year, June 30, 2023, they are accounted for in that audit report.
That's awesome. So tomorrow we have a finance meeting, correct, at 6 p.m.?
That's correct.
So can you explain to me why the finance meetings are not live streamed, however the Board of Education meetings are, so that we can know exactly where every cent goes collectively for those that can't be present?
So the committee meetings are held at our central office. As it is currently, we don't have the capability to live stream those meetings. We do have the equipment at our middle school to live stream our board meetings.
Could you move the meeting?
Most of those meetings start during the school day. So
could you change the time?
That's possible.
Yes. It's important that we know where the finances go, especially since this is the largest amount we've ever had. And that amount was $67 million.
Again, we have an audit report that accounts for all public funds, so that is also available.
So do you know how much is left? How much funds are left?
Of the pandemic money?
Yes.
We have approximately 2.1 million that we have not already earmarked for spending. Some of that, so that's what we have left. There are probably closer to about 5 million that's left. Most of that has already been encumbered, meaning it's been identified for a particular project or expenditure.
5 million or 2 million? Because you just gave us two amounts.
2 million that has not been planned for. There's 5 million total that's left. The 3 million or so that's already been accounted for or encumbered, meaning that's already been identified for some project or expenditure, like the bonuses that we approved for employees last night.
So that means 10.3 million have been spent. 10.3 million has been spent. 3 million, excuse me. He said we have 2 million left. It was a total of 12.4 million. So you're
So again, what has been spent,
uh-huh.
that is all accounted for, and you can find that in our audit.
Okay. So
Okay.
I want to just make sure, because I'm going to that meeting tomorrow night, and the children deserve way more than just band. We should have drama, theater arts, a lot more for mental health, not just for the teachers. And I'm glad that the teachers are getting their half day. Oh, by the way, a half a day starts at 11 o'clock. That means if a teacher takes off work, and I know this because I'm a former public educator in 3 different states for the past 10 years before I created my Freedom School here in Warren County in 2 locations. So with that being said, in regards to us having fine arts, us also partnering with community schools, the amount of the money that we have, I was told by the chief of operations last year that also left Warren County this year. I was told by him, Siobhan, we have funded for after school programs. We have funding for trips, but then the STEP team, because I'm an assistant for them, they didn't even have funding for a bus ride. They didn't have money for uniforms. Also, the baseball and football team had to borrow uniforms that were old uniforms given from East Carolina. So that means we don't have funding for uniforms. We don't have funding for bus trips. So I just want to know where the money is going, because these are extracurricular activities that also help with mental health, especially for the children that were not able to have these activities during school. Those are the Corona funds, and that's what it was supposed to be used for.
So I'm fairly certain that uniforms were purchased for our middle school teams. We also work with both the middle school and the high school, taking some quotes and looking at putting together a system where we are refreshing new uniforms every other year. In the past, we waited 5, sometimes 10 years to purchase new uniforms. Of course, by that time, uniforms are torn up, deteriorated from wear and tear, washing them over and over. And so we're now looking at how we might refresh uniforms every other year.
Yes.
So, I mean, every other year.
But
Is
we
anyone
got-
else that has any other questions?
Yes, anyone else?
Right. What was the number one reason that the administration decided to consolidate, have one elementary school?
The number one reason I would say is the age of each of those 3 elementary schools. They all were built in the 1950s. And when you look at the maintenance and ongoing wear and tear of those buildings, maintaining each of those is probably costing us more than the building upkeep of a new building. So just from an efficiency standpoint, it saves us and the state more money to have them consolidated into one building than trying to maintain 3 buildings that are 50 plus years
Right.
old.
Well, just listening to the figures, it doesn't seem like, well, we all know money's not a problem whenever certain people want money. So so money is the reason that y'all decided to do one school rather than maybe doing schools in the community, others building schools in the community, because I mean, a lot of people just concerned about the time. I know it's a done deal. A lot of people concerned about the time that some of these babies have to get up and get on the bus and be outside, that type of stuff.
It's $42 million. Mm-hmm. The school is $42
million. My question, and I do have concerns in regards to that new elementary school. My concern is shutting down the community-based schools. I understand the premise on money being the motivator in this deal. But collectively, I think overall, when you look at it down the road, our numbers are dwindling. We have more senior citizens in this county than we have teenagers from the age of 17 to 22. So, with that being said, this school, the new school, is probably being built more for the people who some people hope come to this county. Um, and so, when it comes to renovating all of the three schools that are left, if you spend $4 million in each school, those schools will be brand new from one door to the other door.
It would cost more like about 10 million
for each school.
For each school, and we did a report, or we did a study on that, so I can show you the figures. Each one was about anywhere from $8 million to $9 million just to get it up to where it needs to be. And then the county commission would have to increase its annual capital outlay to us probably by about 3 or 4 million to maintain those over another 10 years.
But the reason why it would cost that much is because it has to be because of lack of maintenance. So, and I say that
it's because of the age of the buildings.
Well, that you can say that also, but when you maintain things and you invest in them and keep them up, they hold on pretty well. But going back to the monies, the $12.2 million. So there's $2 million left that has not been allocated for anything specific just yet. So my question is that $2 million going to go to any of those programs that had not seen any of that money that Shaban spoke of?
I can't say that because, again, that money is allocated for the pandemic or anything that, so we would have to make a case for any program as to how that program is impacted or was impacted by the pandemic, right? I can't just take $2 million and say, oh, I want to start an after school program, or I want to buy uniforms. I can't take that and say, oh, I want to start an arts program or course. Now, if I can figure out a way, or staff to figure out a way to say, well, hey, well, because of X, Y, Z and the impact of the pandemic, this will accelerate learning, and there are different grant objectives there. So we can't just take the money and just spend it on whatever we want to spend it on. We have to make a connection to the pandemic.
Will that $2 million, would a portion of that $2 million go to something that was on the list that was never addressed or benefited from those funds?
I mean, some of the things that were neglected, they were neglected because they weren't applicable to the need at that time. So we've not missed anything in terms of, well, this is something we need to go back and use funding to cover this area or that area.
That's what I was getting at. You said nothing was missed. That's what I was getting
at. Yeah, nothing that we can account for that was neglected or something glaring that was neglected.
I'm going to ask, I got about a couple of questions real quick, okay? I've been around looking at all those buildings, okay? And most of those buildings hasn't been taken care of at all. They let it go. The building falling down, they don't fix it. The problem that I have is that you want to build a new school, but you haven't taken care of the ones that you have. The middle school, for example, is falling down. The roof, about 2 years last year, they said they got the money to fix the roof. It's still leaking. It's still leaking. It's a problem. And that's why I'm going back to this one. I want you to answer to the citizen of Warren County, okay? That goes Commissioner Davis right there. I started here, what, 6 years ago, T? 6 years. I have a semi-pro basketball team 6 years ago, and they don't allow me to come to play at the high school. T. Davis came and put a brand new floor for us to play on. T. Davis there. I'm a citizen of Warren County. You're talking about the floors, but you allow other team schools to come and play on that floor, but you don't allow me to come and play at the floor as a citizen of Warren County. Okay? My question is, why? I'm asking you why. Yeah.
So we don't allow other teams to come in and play other than our teams and any opponent that's part of the public school system in our conference. So I'm not aware of any other teams.
Yes.
Other than, I'm not aware.
Okay, I'm gonna help you there. I'm gonna help you right now. Okay. When you said, okay, the other schools can come here and play as long as you're aware the other schools, different high schools. Am I right or wrong? They come and play at the gym.
When they're playing Warren County?
Yes. But who am I? I live here. I'm a citizen of Warren County. And you telling me you don't allow me to bring a team up here to play in that gym because the structure of that gym is a semi-pro, it's a pro basketball, okay? And you don't allow me, but you allow other individual schools, it don't matter, schools, to come here and play. And that's a problem.
Okay. That's been a district policy that we don't rent out the gym at the high school. For any events that we use, that we rent out the facility, we use the middle school gym for those kinds of things.
That's a policy, ain't it? That's a policy? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Any other questions?
No, I'm not through yet. Real quick. I'm not through yet. You see, this is the problem that I have. When I hear people talking about money, where the money go, we have the people that deals with them finance officers. They love to stay, but they gone. Okay? And that's the reason I was telling you yesterday for us to bring a forensic auditor to look at the book. You told me they came last year. I'm good for that. I want to go back. I am going to go back. And then, like I said, I'm going to send you some letters. I would like to have a response for you. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you.
Right here.
All right.
Hey, Mr. Sun.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mr. Sun, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So, thank you, Mr. Sutton, for representing Warren County School System. And we have coming forward our newly elected House Representative, Mr. Rodney Pierce. How you doing, bro? Good. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rodney D. Pierce, and as of, I want to say Monday, my opponent finally conceded, and I am your new state representative-elect for House District 27. That's Halifax, Northampton. Thank you. That's Halifax, Northampton, and Warren counties. I have a lot to learn. I have a steep learning curve, so bear with me. I ask that you keep me in your prayers and your thoughts. And I'm going to continue to rely on you because I'm here to listen. I'm here to learn. And that's so I'll know what to advocate for, to lobby for when I go to Raleigh. I want to be visible. If you know of things that are going on in the community that I need to be at, that I need to have a presence at, please let me know.
The Board of Education meeting.
Yes, ma'am. I am a school teacher. I've been teaching middle school social studies for this is my 9th year. I have the pleasure of working with Commissioner Davis's wife. Now that I'm quote unquote in, because there is no Republican challenger in November, one of my priorities is to get Mr. Davis up in Raleigh with me this November. And I hope that's one of yours as well. Yeah, let's get that a hand. Get him in the state Senate as myself in the state house. I know that some things have been asked in terms of what's your vision for Warren County. Mine would expand a little bit in terms of what's my vision for House District 27, Halifax, Warren, and Northampton. I had the pleasure of talking to a gentleman a few days ago that I hope becomes our next governor, and Josh Stein. And I have 3 children. All of them attend Halifax County Schools, so they're all in the public school system. My son is 17, he's a junior. Oldest daughter's 14, she's a freshman. And baby girl is 10, she's in the 4th grade. And when I was talking to Attorney General Stein, I said, this is what I want. I said, I would like for my youngest daughter, by the time she's about to come out of high school, by the time she's about to enter high school, for him, that will be a 1 term, then it will be 2 terms. I said, by the time she's coming out, I said, I want her to be able to say, okay, if I want to stay here and get a good paying job, I can stay here and get a good paying job that's going to pay me a fair living wage with good benefits. If she wanted to start a family, okay, then they would attend fully funded public schools. And then you can have those classes that you were talking about, not just in high school, but also in middle school. Because I teach in Northampton County schools. And the only electives or enhancement courses outside of the core 4 that my students have at the middle school that I teach at, all they have is CTE, health, and PE. Okay? So when you talk about that rural poverty, when you talk about those challenges, I know firsthand because I see it with my own students. No art, no chorus, no band, no coding, no foreign language. All of those things they could be getting in middle school if their schools were funded the right way. All right. And the last thing is, and I think Commissioner Davis kind of spoke to this, if she wants to go out and have a good time, there are local, safe, healthy recreational options, not just for her, but also if she decided to start a family for her children. That's my vision for House District 27, Halifax, Northampton, and Warren County. Fully funded public schools, safe, healthy, local recreational options for adults and children, and good industry in the area that will pay a fair living wage and provide good benefits so employees can take care of their families. That can't happen overnight. It won't happen overnight. And it goes back to what Commissioner Davis said. You have to have people in office that are going to advocate and fight for those types of things, that are going to develop those types of relationships with the people who can help make that happen, and will work with your local officials and activists and advocates to help those things come to fruition. And I think all the questions been answered, but I'll take some. I don't know what I could possibly answer. I was sitting back, like I said, I was learning myself. That's why I came. Thank you, Mr. Hicks, for the invitation. Is there any questions that y'all think I might be able to answer for you? Sir? Yes. Nobody? You say? I'm sorry, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You were talking about being in Halifax and Warren on the line and not having. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's right. Does somebody have a question? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
So my question is just like what you were speaking on,
Mhm.
the lack of fine arts being in school, foreign language, the
Yes,
things that
ma'am.
actually make children multicultural,
That's right.
the things that make children diverse, the programs that parents can come out and also support their children in, and
Mhm.
also learn a thing or two from those
Yes, ma'am.
programs as well. So my question is, how do we gain funding? Because every single state, every single school has music and arts funds
Mhm.
from the elementary level on top all
Mhm.
the way up. And I know this because I studied at the U.S. Department of Education. I'm a member of the National Educators Association as well. I've spoken at NEA when I
Right.
lived in Maryland, when I did all of this, even went to the Supreme Court to say, hey, we need more. And
Mhm.
also, in regards to history, if we know that African people before slavery,
Yes.
we have to understand world history before slavery. And this is not taught in public schools. We only know about slavery and after.
I
I
would
have a
disagree with you there because I teach history.
Oh no, I'm not saying you. You're a
Okay.
rare breed, King. I'm saying that's the majority because what do they know when they come out? That's
Right.
what
Right.
matters
I
most.
understand.
And that is what we are lacking in
Mhm.
regards to the education system. So
Mhm.
with that being said, fine arts, like you said on this level in these counties,
Mhm.
how can we assure that in regards to fine arts, language,
Mhm.
multiculturalism, diversity, these are things
Mhm.
that we study for our degrees in education, right?
That's right.
So, how can we assure that the children get this on an elementary level in these rural
Mhm.
areas without saying we don't have funding for it? But we know
Right.
funding is available for it.
Um, I would say this first of all. You got to have intentionality at the top. And this is not a slight against the Board of Education here or in any of the counties that I'm looking to serve, but the board members have to be intentional and they have to make it a priority. They have to say, this is what we want in our middle schools or in our high schools. I'm looking at it more so from a middle school perspective because that's where I've been the past near decade. But the board members have to make it a priority for the superintendent to execute it. So you got to have the right people at that level saying, we want this here. You got to have that intentionality. Then I think by them saying that, they will make sure that the superintendent has the funds to make it happen. Also, grants and things like that, striking up partnerships with organizations or with institutions like yours, as well as with local churches in the area. I know Mr. Hicks sings. But those are the types of things I think will incorporate it back into the school system. I say grants because one of the first jobs I had in the school system in public schools, I worked at my old middle school, William R. Davie, which is in Halifax County. And we didn't have funding for an art teacher in the school district budget. And the way they did it was they applied for a grant. The grant was only for 3 years. So when that grant ran out, they didn't have an art teacher anymore. But when you're strapped, like so many rural districts are when it comes to funding, that's what you have to do sometimes.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
and thank you for that, King.
Mhm.
So, in this case, because I've written proposals to the board
Yes,
and
ma'am.
they give me the runaround, they say, well, Siobhan, the principal of the school decides what
Mhm.
classes or what subjects are needed and wanted for the student
Mhm.
population. And then those same principals say, no, Siobhan, that is not true. You have to go to the board to request
Right.
that they do it. So it's a lot of
Right.
running around to kind
Understand.
of dodge that here in regards to the money being available. And I've noticed this for the past 3 years that I've lived here. And
Mhm.
even before that, I felt so bad leaving Warren County, but I had to be in Durham. I was married. I had to do what I needed to
Yes,
do.
ma'am.
And I wanted to assure that even though I left, that chorus would still be available
Mhm.
because they had the funding. So I was then told, well, Siobhan, who would you suggest as a replacement? And I said, well, there are plenty. Just like me, when I came in, I was a replacement for Dr. Guyton. She was a wonderful chorus teacher. She was my former chorus teacher
Mhm.
at the middle and high school level. And she said, Siobhan, I need you to commute. I know that you know this, but if we choose somebody else, they may just play tracks. The children may not have proper vocal health care. They may shred their voices before their voices can even develop.
Mhm.
So, which is why in my county, they're not quite accustomed to that level of professionalism. And it's like sing at the church. But by the time they get to be 3 or 4 years in church, their vocals could shred.
Right.
So it's really, really important, but they don't really see it that way. And
Mhm.
also, the band makes money. That means the band makes
That's
money
true.
at games. And our county does a lot just for money, unfortunately. So we're not going to have chorus. What do they do? We have free shows and they might come out to that, but where's the
Right.
money?
Right.
So that's how our county is. We only invest in what we can get back sometimes. And that's another one of my issues because we've had the most money we've ever had, but we still don't have those programs. And there are teachers available, but those vacancies are not.
Right. I would say this as well. I don't know how many of you all in here are familiar with the Leandro case that goes back to 1994. They're literally trying to overturn that. I was at the Leandro rally, I want to say it was last month up in Raleigh where Dr. Barber was at, and the state Supreme Court, now that it is majority Republican, they are literally going to try to overturn the Leandro decision, and that is essential. The Leandro decision is all about school funding, all about school funding. You know, in North Carolina, we are the only state where in our state constitution's Declaration of Rights, students have the right to a free system of public schools, and that goes all the way back to Reconstruction, the Reconstruction Constitution of 1868 here in the state of North Carolina, when those carpetbaggers and those previously enslaved black men who are now free got together in Raleigh and created this document. So they are literally going to try to overturn that. So when Commissioner Davis says vote, when you're out here voting, don't just think about the House of Representatives or the commissioners or your board members here. Think about those judges. And when I say judges, I'm not just talking about your district and superior court judges. I'm talking about your judges at the Court of Appeals and your judges at the state Supreme Court. Because one of the Democratic judges, and I'm not saying this to quote unquote promote a partisan position or anything like that, or to tell you who to vote for, but when it comes to that case, which is so essential, one of the Democratic judges on the state Supreme Court is up for re-election. She literally just got appointed, and she's already up for re-election because Michael Morgan retired so he could run for governor. So please make sure that you educate yourself on the candidates who are running for office, not just on the local level, but on the state level as well, so that you know who you're voting for. State Superintendent too. Thank you. That's my frat brother, Mo Green. I'm sorry. State Superintendent as well. Yeah, because I'm not even gonna go into the other option for State Superintendent, but please make sure that you educate yourself about those state candidates when it comes to education as well as to the judiciary, because it appears, and I've worked in public schools for the past near decade, it appears that they are literally trying to destroy our public school system in North Carolina.
For modern slavery.
Literally trying to destroy it. That's what that voucher program is about. You know, taking money out of public schools and giving it to folk who already have the means so that they can send their children to private school on our dime. And that was one of the things I campaigned against. That's the main reason I ran. Because, you know, when you take money out of public schools, not only are you taking away the resources that children and teachers and administrators need to educate children, but Warren County Public Schools is the top employer in Warren County.
Yes, sir.
So you're also messing with people's livelihoods, right? And if you have fully funded public schools, you can offer more jobs to people. You can promote that diversity and bring people in from different cultures, different parts of the state, different parts of the country, to bring that and to expose our students and our children to different things. So please educate yourself as voters so that we make the right decisions and put the right people in there. Mr. Hicks, yes, sir.
Is there, how do we get a I guess you would say a go-to person or a go-to system that would create more accountability? Because when I say that,
now you're talking about accountability for elected officials, or what do you mean?
Well, you could say elected officials because the school board is elected.
Yes, sir.
County commissioners are elected.
Yes, sir.
And things of that nature, because
state legislators.
Right. So like on the county level, if we have some concerns and we're not satisfied with, we have to go through the system to get to the answer that will satisfy us, or, you know, it's supposed to be a transparency, but we don't always feel like we're getting to the bottom of things. So if there's money allocated to this place here,
yes,
is there any way to have is a system of oversight, somebody that would literally okay look into this or look into that without us having to go 2-3 years, stuff like that being denied and running around?
I mean, I think what you're doing, again, I'm going to keep leaning on Commissioner Davis's early comments. I think what you're doing tonight is a great start. Having a local group of citizens, concerned citizens who want to know more and do more. I think that showing up at those commissioner meetings, showing up at those Board of Education meetings, speaking during public comment, being in contact with whoever might represent your respective area or district on the board, and letting them know, look, this is what I want to know. This is what I need to see. I mean, that's what I started doing years ago. When I found out that public education was primarily funded through the state of North Carolina, I started doing my own research. And when I started learning things, then I started reaching out to the people that I needed to reach out to. For example, when I found out that, excuse me, when I found out the statistics when it came to black men only making up maybe 2 or 3% of North Carolina educators in terms of K-12 classrooms, then I started looking at the statistics when it came to black male students in North Carolina. And I said, okay, well, what can I do as a black male educator to try to make sure it's more brothers in the classroom? Okay, I need to start advocating because, for one thing, the teacher salaries are low. It's hard to support yourself as well as a family off of that.
Right.
So I go online, I go to Twitter, I start communicating with people. I start linking up with people in Raleigh to learn things. I get a fellowship through the Center for Racial Equity and Education. And the guy who's on that board, the executive director of that organization, is on the State Board of Education. So I start learning more about what to do behind the scenes. Then some young ladies who were in another fellowship created a pilot program saying, hey, you need to extend the Teaching Fellows program, which used to be for any college in North Carolina, to HBCUs because HBCUs produce most of your black teachers. That was years ago, probably about 6 or 7 years ago. They only wanted 3 HBCUs. Fast forward 4, 5, 6, 7 years, those HBCUs have been included in the Teaching Fellows program, which are going to bring more black men and black women into the public school classroom. So it takes a while, but it took getting people who wanted those types of things, wanted to see more black educators in the classroom, wanted to get the Teaching Fellows program, or in order to do that, had to get the Teaching Fellows program extended to institutions that are going to be educating the future generations of black teachers. And then it took just that advocacy, somebody putting the proposal together, going to the legislature, because that's what we basically had to do with our proposals. Ship them off to whoever was our legislator, whoever was in charge of that committee was the chair of it or a liaison to it, and doing it like that. And it's usually, I mean, this it's a years long process sometimes because you have to keep at it. I mean, we just passed Medicaid expansion, and that was 10 years in the making. They could have done it a long time ago, but they decided not to.
One more question.
Yes, sir.
You're from Halifax County?
Yes, sir.
Do you all have district voting in Halifax County?
For the commissioners?
Yes.
We have 6 commissioners, if I'm not mistaken, 3 districts, 3 at large.
So, was that something, were you there when did they always have that, or is that something that happened since you've been?
I want to say, I don't want to be wrong, Mr. Hicks, but I'm a history teacher and I studied the history of my county. If I'm not mistaken, it took a lawsuit to change that. And it was about, back then when they did it in the 80s, it was about not having black commissioners on the county commission in the 20th, like we hadn't had one in the 20th century, something like that. The case was called Johnson versus Halifax County. I can't remember all the particulars, but I believe that's what it took to change the at-large system to a district system so that black people could be elected to the county commission. And they did it in other places around North Carolina so that not only could black people be elected to county commissions, but also the city councils. So that's what if memory serves me correct, that's what it took to change it, to make it more equitable.
Okay. Okay. Good deal.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes, ma'am.
So what would be the new way that we could do it? Because we are a county that does not have district-wide voting, and we went to our commissioners. We've also, I've also investigated all of our surrounding counties, and every single one of them has district-wide voting but us. And here, that's kind of like putting us in a cage because it's very complicated trying to vote for people if they have to run across this entire county. And as they were saying, they live way over one end, we live on another, and to have enough funds to be able to put our signs out to get an adequate amount of votes is very difficult.
I think that's where I come in. I think I would have to file the bill in order to make it happen. I believe so. I believe that's where I come in.
We went to the General Assembly and everything, and they gave us some suggestions. We went to our county commissioners 2 or 3 times.
Yes, ma'am.
And they refused to
So
take
what
on
did
that
what did they
fight.
tell you at the General Assembly? Did they tell you to go to your state legislator and ask them to file a bill to do it at the state level?
They told us,
Right.
And they first they told us to go back and try one more time because they said that the
To try to ask the commissioners to do it?
yes, that they could probably vote it in, and then again we didn't get a response. So we're where you are, where he is. We're
Yes,
going to
ma'am.
go to the next level.
That is what I believe would have to happen. Either myself or whoever is the again, prayerfully, hopefully, Commissioner Davis would have to file that bill in the General Assembly, whether it's in the Senate or in the House. And then once it goes over to the other side, whoever is the representative for Warren County, work it on that side and then get it to the floor for a vote so it can become law.
All right, well, I'll definitely get in touch with you. And then the reason why it's so detrimental here in this county is because if you have people who can cause other people to take seats, and you have like a political party that's able financially to fund the people that they want to sit in the seats.
Yes, ma'am.
But the county might have some very, very, very good other people that could do just as well or even better if they could just get to the people and get voted for. So I think that would also change how this county runs or what goes on in here.
Right.
So thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Now, if memory serves me correct, are all of the seats on the Warren County Commission districts, some of them are at large, correct? Or you don't have at large? That's what you want. That's what you're saying. You want at large and district? At large is when the whole county gets to vote on that one particular position.
That's what we have now.
That's what you have now. Okay. Okay. I'm not ignoring you. I just want to look it up on my phone. Understand. Okay.
Mr.
Mr. Espinosa.
Pearson,
Yes, sir.
the great thing about district voting, okay,
Yes, sir.
that people, like right now, it's everybody can vote. But if you live in District 3, the only people that can vote for you is the people that live in that district.
That's right. That's right.
So on the end of the day, the PAC doesn't own them. Because for 40 years, the PAC been running this county down to the hole. So that's why we keep on fighting for district voting, to give other input on other people, and it costs less money to run for school board and the commissioner. We need new school board, new commissioner, because the ones that we have, look where we at. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Is that it? Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's right. That's right. Wait, we visit your legislature. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
we go to the, I do apologize. We go to the commissioners meetings as well as the Board of Education meetings, as well as Parks and Recreation meetings to assure that the community has what they need in every single government sector. So would you suggest that we gather more people from Warren County, such as these wonderful, brilliant, concerned citizens,
Definitely.
to come with us to the General Assembly?
The General Assembly is called the People's House.
The People's House.
That's where the people need to be.
Yes. So come
Yes,
to the
ma'am.
People's House so that we can actually get those state auditors to come in, not just when they have it planned in regards to the schools and the commissioners to be able to check in the books. We want to make sure that we do an unexpected check-in.
Okay.
And we want to do those to assure that the money is appropriated correctly.
Right.
So would you suggest, like, could we, how many, I'm sorry, how long are public comments? Like if we wanted to come and make a stance as Warren County, will we have the time needed to do that?
I think when they're debating bills and they do open it up for public comment, I think people generally have what you generally have at your,
3 minutes or 5
2
minutes?
to 3, I believe.
Gotcha.
I think 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that the right route that we would go in regards to getting
I mean,
fine
you would
arts,
talk.
also
You would,
district voting?
I would say talk to your state legislator, whoever he or she might be, to
You,
find
King.
out. Right. Once I get, let's get up there and get it, situated. Right now, my opponent is still going to be in there until January, which is when I
Okay.
take my oath. So I won't be there until 2025.
But when you get there, you're going to be present at those
Oh,
General
yeah,
Assembly
definitely.
meetings.
Yes.
Because
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
been an issue as well.
Right.
Michael Ray, I'm not trying to be mean, but he comes to get people to vote to do certain things, but we've gone to the General Assembly and sometimes he's not present.
Right.
So if our state legislator is not present, and I'm not trying to be mean, but also when Terry Garrison was in place, I've sent numerous emails to say these things are happening in our county. I mean, about 40 different incidents, and nothing was
Wow.
made. And we have plenty. We have plenty of incidents, plenty, and yes. So we want you to be well prepared, King.
Oh, yeah.
In regards to the things that we're going to really need you for, and public education is a main thing because as you hear, this is the most money we've ever had. But where's the progression in our schools?
I'm with you.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Thank you all for organizing this event and for having me. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming out.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. You gotta let me get that blazer.
I thought you did.
Well, it looks like this may be the conclusion of our town hall. We appreciate everybody coming out. I hope that you had your concerns addressed and your questions answered. We'll be having another one. We're planning to have them annually. So we'll be sure to get the word out, let you all know, and please pass the word and bring someone with you. Also share with them whenever we have a town hall, they'll be able to link in, I believe, on Zoom. So thank everybody for coming out. Be safe for going in, and good evening.